Kingdom principle, shut up and die. Listen, as men, but as men of God, the most difficult thing to do in the days that we live in is to not defend yourself when persecution comes. One of the hardest things to do is to hold your tongue when you're lied on or falsely accused. In other words, the toughest thing to do in this hostile and violent world that we are in, but not of, is to not retaliate. Now, we know the Bible teaches that as men, we are the stronger vessels, and there will be times when we have to protect and defend. But at all times, we must walk in humility because we know that vengeance is the Lord's and He will repay. But let me be honest, I have not gotten to the place in the walk that He leads me in where someone can take a swing at me, let alone hit me, and not fight back. I know that for the kingdom, we're supposed to turn the other cheek. And when it comes to that, my brothers, my spirit is willing, my flesh is weak, but I am getting there. Most men are just like me in that we are not afraid of anyone. And I'm not old, but I'm not 25 anymore. So don't start any mess so that there won't be any mess. And that's truly because the Holy Spirit has been and is still working. But I still know how to and am able to stand my ground if need be. But again, most if not all men, and that includes men of God, feel this way. However, the reason we feel this way is not just because we are protectors and competitors. It's also because of our flesh and our mouth. In other words, as we submit to the Holy Spirit, our flesh is supposed to die daily, but the problem is our words keep giving it life. In Romans chapter 7, Paul describes the war that is raging on the inside of all of us who know what is right and want to do it, but instead of doing it, we do what we know is wrong. Paul said, "The things that I hate are the things that I do. And not only do I do them, I keep on doing them, even though I don't want to." Does that resemble anybody you know? Now, the reason I'm talking about this is because we are living in the last days, and we need to know how to endure until Jesus returns. One of the schemes that the enemy uses effectively is to create opportunities for men to get angry and sin, or get mad and get ignorant. Now, the way that he does that is through offense. How many know that as men, no matter how long you've lived or how long you've been saved, being disrespected still makes you want to lay hands on somebody? And even though you may have the right to do it, you also know it may not be the right thing to do. However, for the brothers who are mature, most of the time when those situations arise, it's not about you. It's about you protecting your family, friends, and even a stranger, or standing up for the rights of others and being willing to suffer the consequences for your actions. But for the brothers who are immature, both real and perceived disrespect will make you retaliate, act ignorant, and unleash a level of violence that causes collateral damage or harms people who don't have anything to do with your beef. The problem is you don't even care. But when you're mature, it always gets to that point because a beef always starts off with a whole lot of talk and ends with a whole lot of ignorance. That's why, my brothers, the best way to squash a beef is to learn how to shut up and die. Like I said earlier, holding your tongue is one of the most difficult things to do as a man of God when you get offended. But it is impossible to do when you live outside of God's grace. 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 23 says this about Jesus. When they hurled insults at him, he did not retaliate. When he suffered, he made no threats. Instead, he entrusted himself to him who judges justly. His response was and is the example for how we should respond to offense, disrespect, and beef, especially when you've done nothing wrong, when you're standing up for others, or when you're protecting your family, friends, and strangers. That's called humbling yourself to the death of the cross like Jesus did. Or for us, it's submitting to the Holy Spirit and dying daily to the flesh, which is giving ourselves to God as a pleasing and acceptable sacrifice, according to Romans chapter 12, verse 1. But that only happens when you quit reacting to insults, quit talking trash, quit starting and keeping up beefs, quit opening up your mouth, and just shut up and die.